It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hello, good afternoon, 26th of June 2019, 2 p.m. CET, New York Open right now. Piotr here, and this is the live market coverage. We are going to cover New York Open here on Liteforex Global YouTube channel. So good afternoon, good afternoon. Let's start with risk warning as usual, guys. Please bear in mind trading effects on margin. Trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that we cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. So, what is going on? Actually there was, and bulls are trying to hold, there was a spike based on the Mnuchin comments in regards to the US-China deal, right? The funny thing is, and it's maybe not that funny because it's showing how poor the market right now is. Looks like Algo read just the headline, right, from Mnuchin and push the risk on higher. But the truth is that's the old headline. It's like late April, beginning of May, the same happened. So I would be very careful here with the risk. I'm very interesting actually how the New York is going to react, if it's the surprise nice levels to fade. All right, so what we are going to look closer to the New York cash open, US cash open, is we are going to look for some levels to try to fade eventually the risk on sentiment, right? Also pound, looks like pound doesn't like the conversation between the Hunt and Johnson, right? Especially about the no deal Brexit. We saw a little bit of the pound spike, probably based on what Carney said, and again it was probably Algo only when he mentioned that the higher rates are possible, but there are plenty of conditions. So it's not that easy. So pound looks weaker. I've been fan of pound for some time. I've been fan of pound a little bit too early, but so I've been hurt. Then I took the advantage of the rally as well, the latest price action showing that it might be enough for now for bulls. We are going to discuss pound, of course, as well. Key thing is the dollar, right? There was especially after the Bullard. We had the Bullard and Powell yesterday, and especially after the Bullard, who said that his previous comment about the 50 basis point cut in July, that would be overdone. That was what put dollar bears under pressure, right? The thing is that because of the end of the quarter, right? First half year, first 6 months of the year, I think that it might be flow related to these events, much more important. Some kind of the rebalancing and stuff like this, some kind of the window dressing. So I would be very careful here. And we are going to discuss the dollar from the euro dollar and dollar yen perspective, right? What else? We are going to check New Zealand dollar, all right, after the RBNZ. So we are going to check what is going on. Looks like New Zealand dollar is gaining the ground for now, at least for now, right? Of course, we are going to discuss indices during the second part of our meeting, and if we are going to have a time during the third part of our meeting today, we are going to discuss or we are going to talk a bit about oil and gold. Oil and gold. All right, so that's how the things looks like. Let's check what we have on the agenda today. We are waiting for durable goods orders, 2:30 within the next 20 minutes. Good trade balance as well, and then at 4:30, I'm not sure if we are going to be together still, but at 4:30, don't forget we do have crude oil inventories. The API was in favor of bulls yesterday. API was in. That was what happened after API, attempt to break higher, right? Actually, we broke higher and we are trying to hold the ground. But today, tomorrow, Friday, that's gonna be the specific days. Especially today, from FX perspective, right? From FX perspective, if you want to settle your spot FX business in June, you have to use your opportunity today because of the T+2, right? So we might see a little bit higher volatility around the London fix or closer to the end of the US session as well. It's so hot here on my side. What else? Tomorrow we do have Spanish-German preliminary CPI. We do have final GDP out of the US tomorrow, as well as US bank stress test results. All right. And Friday, of course, we start. It's the end of the quarter. It's a first 6 months of 2019, but also we start G20 meeting, and based on what we discussed this morning, during the second part, we are going to go through few indices because it looks very interesting. If you remember, morning meeting, we were discussing about what happened after last G20, right? And yeah, so there are two scenarios from the bear's perspective for indices we are going to discuss as well. Okay. We've got 15 minutes to go. So let's start with euro dollar. Nothing extraordinary right now. No change to what we discussed this morning. So let's start with bulls perspective. So from the bulls perspective, the price action we've seen on the 12th of June, right? The price action we've seen here, it's quite important in my opinion after the breakout to the upside. So from the bulls perspective, especially after yesterday initial reaction after the Powell Bullard speeches, there is a little bit of the space yet. So as I mentioned, no change to what we discussed this morning. Just the reminder, I do expect market may want to try to find some liquidity, so we may want to hit this 1340 level in between 1340 1335. That's where I expect some kind of the demand. On the other hand, from the bear's perspective, the positive thing is that we closed yesterday below weekly open, blue dotted line, and there was an attempt to go higher, rejected. So from the bear's perspective, good thing is that we are still holding below weekly open. But I do expect a little bit more supply towards 1415, 1420. That's what I've been waiting, what we were waiting for yesterday, right? During our educational webinar yesterday, we discussed euro dollar, and especially based on the monthly chart, right? Based on the price action we've seen in July 2017, the base, this breakout candle, right? So we were very close yesterday, and really I missed that opportunity. I thought that we are going to anyway to hit a little 10 pips higher, right? Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So in case of euro dollar, I think that patience is needed right now. All right. The level I've mentioned, 1340, 1335, is also here on daily, the breakout point, right? As well as what I've been trying to explain, the range we've seen 20th of March, the bottom over here, that was the breakout, so the base of this candle, right? It worked previously as supply, right? Once it was broken, after the payrolls work nicely as a supply. Now we had break higher, so we might activate this demand again, right? And that's what happened yesterday. That's why we have this lower shadow, right? I think there is still some space to look for liquidity and eventually try to rally off that one. On the other hand, here on the daily, the weekly open is the one thing, but eventually, if you remember educational webinars, we may try to finish the business. So we might try to create some swing high over here, or it might be unfinished business, and we will revisit this 14 level a little bit later, right? There are some, most of the banks are using different models. They're also using the models in relation to the end of the month flow, what to expect, and the earliest information I've seen was from Barclays yesterday, and they model suggests about, guys, be very careful. I haven't seen the positive correlation. I mean, I haven't seen that these informations are working every month. It might be the trap, but anyway, based on the Barclays model, looks like the dollar bulls might be under pressure. But again, I would be very cautious trying to blindly follow that information. So euro dollar, waiting to see what's going to happen once market will try to look for the stops below yesterday low, or what's going to happen if we are going to see attempt to rally back towards 114. That's how euro dollar looks like. Dollar yen, nice rally based on this Mnuchin old news. based on this. So how does it look from the higher time frame? Let's check from the higher time frame first. Some cleaning is needed. I think we have to make the hard cleaning. Yo. One oh seven 278, 107 278, 107 278. So that's the weekly open. And let's check the high and low from Monday as well. Oh, come on. Low 107.24, 107.24. And the high 107.531. Okay, so we are right now above weekly open as well as above Monday high, right? Testing the Friday high, but still that's what we discussed from the daily perspective. The low from the 19th, 107.90, right? So trying to close the gap. The high of today, 107.75. We are waiting for a US data. Yeah, that's happened. That's what happened sometimes. Yeah, I know. Overall, from the higher time frame perspective, we are trying to what we discussed. We are trying to hold. I know that we had on January we had this huge spike, but we hold this swing low. I'm looking for current market price action on the monthly chart, and we're trying to hold the high and the open from this candle when we created the low in 2018 during the March. So right now we're trying to hold the high, we're trying to hold the open, we are trying to build lower shadow again, but a lot of work because it's a monthly. So bulls would love to see the prices higher above monthly open. In that case it's 108.27. So I'm not sure if it's enough time, but never say never. From the weekly perspective, right, that's probable range. We hit the stops below the low of the previous week, right, and we're trying to reverse the course, but again it might be just the retest of this previous swing low which been broken last week, right? So in that case, let's place another line. $108.15 from the weekly. And overall, it might be the supply based on this candle. That's what we discussed yesterday, right, during the educational webinar. That's possible supply right now. Okay. So let's get back to daily, and we have the channel which market is trying to respect. I truly believe that we might see some kind of the spike, but if we are going to hold the upper line of that channel, so let's try to visualize it. Let's say today or tomorrow we are going to get something like this. That we are going to try to break higher through the top of that channel, but we are going to get upper shadow and close inside the channel. That might be the sign that we want to look for intraday opportunity to try to sell it. And yeah, I think that the yesterday low at some point might be under pressure. We might try to look for more stops below yesterday low, right? And this 105 really might be targeted. The thing is that it's a question about the market sentiment. That's how I see the things. It's all about the market sentiment. Because of the latest FOMC, because of the Powell, a little bit, dollar is a little bit under pressure, right? In case of risk of sentiment overall, we are talking about the indices right now. So yen might be the safe haven, and in that case, yeah, this 105 is quite a realistic target, right? Right now, what bulls need here is move back at least above 108.50, at least right? The best thing would be to get back above 1010 as soon as you can, right? The psychological level, because once we are below 110, so next psychological level is 100, right? Just middle of the road, 105 and then 100. But 100 is something we discussed as well previous week. So that's how I see the dollar yen, and then intraday perspective. I like this breakdown here because we have moved to the downside. We broke this nice lower shadow over here, right? So we broke through that low. Then we create base, right? And we broke to the downside through that base, right? So it was like drop, base, drop. One of the formation we discussed during those three meetings we had over the course of June, right? I'm talking about the educational webinars. But I do prefer, so this is the logical also, it represents by the blue lines, meaning that we have some kind of the supply based on the weekly chart here, right? But I do prefer this range a little bit higher in the middle of that base, based on this broken low over here. So that's, we reacted on euro dollar based on such a setup. We reacted on pound many times, different time frames, higher time frames, lower time frames. So I do prefer the higher levels. All right, durable goods order. Let's see what we are going to get here. Oh, it looks like it's a pump day. First, it was the old news from Mnuchin. Now we have from President Trump. If decides to place additional tariffs on Chinese products, could be 10%, not 25%. So, White House is making window dressing towards the end of the quarter. Whoa! Where is SEC? Where is SEC? Jeez. Of course, China wants to make a trade deal more than the US. Of course, Mr. President. Then you are going to be hurry up after the summer holiday, because it's gonna be 1 year for the election, and you will have to start to beg Chinese guys, I need a deal ahead of the election. And of course, possible could reach trade deal with Xi at G20 and avoid need for further tariffs. Pump. Anyway, let's have a look what's going on with the durable good orders. Okay, minus 1.3. Expectation minus 0.2. Extransportations 0.3. Expectations 0.1. Mix. not that great actually. So that's the reason we don't have any action. Actually no action. Looks like they did not wake up yet in New York. So we have some time, as nothing extraordinary is going on currently. Just I need I don't know why, but looks like weekly open is missing. 27,197, 27,197, 27,197. And what was the low? 27,079. And what was the high? 2766. Okay. So as we have some time, few minutes ahead of the first break today, let's have a look what we have on the Kiwi dollar. Looks like bulls are trying, from the intraday perspective, trying to push higher. Another stops were taken out for sure, but let's have a look where we are from higher time frame perspective, right? Where we are and what we may expect here. Based on what we have, I need to clean it up as well. So basically what we have on the Kiwi dollar here, we are trying to take out these highs, so some kind of the double bottom formation, finished business. As well as we can call it almost the range break. We are approaching top of the range. Now the comments after the RBNZ, the comments are that yeah, the expectations are the 2 cuts this year. Okay. I'm sorry. President Trump, Fed's Powell doesn't do anything for the US. Powell is not doing a good job. Jeez. President Trump, other countries have devalued their currencies and the US cannot because of the Federal Reserve policy. US should have ECB Draghi instead of our Fed person. Jeez. Oh my. Whoa. So it's a White House against Fed. Nope. Goodies. Anyway, let's get back to Kiwi. So in that case, if we are gonna to see break higher, especially the 50% was tested after the RBNZ. Look guys, today's price action, the lower shadow, 50% supply and being tested. That's quite nice. So in that case, we might see, in case of the breakout, right? We might see that market will try to double that range, right? In that case, we are talking about the 69. Now, is it possible? Never say never. Let's check where we have the possible supply around the top of that range based on what we have to the left side. Yeah, there is a nice supply, never tested before. And I like it very much. Based on what we've seen on the 12th of April 2019. This consolidation over here, this rising candle. We finished the business based on this swing low attempt and rally to the upside. I like this. I like this very much. And where was the open? 67.27.6. 67.27.6. So the zone here. So yeah, it might be some kind of the might be just stop hunt. It's worth to watch if it's going to be trapped or no. It's worth to watch in my opinion, right? It's nice possible supply, but in case we are going to have that break to the upside, it's also bigger over under based on what we've seen here. It's the size of this original, as you can see, original consolidation here. The things might get interesting very soon here on Kiwi dollar. So it's worth to watch. And right now we have here intraday possible demand. So it's in the middle, we are right now in the middle of the road towards supply based on the daily and demand based on intraday and the latest rally. Worth to watch. Okay guys, it's time for a first break, so enjoy the break. Bar is open, tea, coffee, water, non-alcoholic drinks. I'm gonna be back around the top of the hour. Enjoy the break.